Hello and welcome to Miko Microlearning. My name is John Miko, and this is the first video in a series aimed at going through dynamic arrays, a newer, exciting feature in Microsoft Excel. In this video, we're going to introduce dynamic array basics and this sequence function, which is a dynamic array function, and a couple use cases of the sequence function. So first, here's a list of all the dynamic array functions that Microsoft has introduced over the last few years. Dynamic array functions are different because they allow functions to spill into adjacent cells. This video will cover sequence, and later videos will cover other functions like filter and really powerful tools. So let's start with the sequence function. So first of all, the sequence function has standard syntax. So the equal sequence, and then it has four parameters. Rows and columns defines the shape of the array, how many rows long by how many columns wide, and start and step says what's the start value, and step is what is the interval. So if we go to A3 here, and I'm going to type in equal sequence, and I'm going to say I want this by 5 rows, and by default, column start and step are 1. So as I just ended here, those are optional arguments. It's going to be 5, 1, 1, 1, which is going to give me 1 column, and starting at 1 and stepping by 1, and it's going to go down 5. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I wanted that to be 5 rows by 2 columns, I just do 2, and it's going to go 1 through 10, right? Because that is a 5 by 2 array, or 10. Notice when we do this, the function lives in A3. Okay, so if we look up in the formula bar, we see the sequence function. If I go to any other cell that it's spilled into, we see the sequence function, but it's grayed out because we can't change it because the function lives in a 3. It's simply spilled down 5 rows and over 2 columns as we instructed it to do so. Let's go here and let's say we want to go down 10 rows by 2 columns. And I want you to note that in this cell in A10 I have something, I wrote block. It doesn't matter what it is, but it's going to block the spilling. So if I go to 10, 2, and I hit enter, we have this pound spill error, the dreaded spill error. So what it's saying is, I'm trying to spill, but there's already something in that cell and I don't want to overwrite it, so you have kind of an issue here. You didn't plan for that. If I delete whatever's in A10 or whatever's blocking my spill, it will then spill into my category. Now, referencing this. So if I want to reference this array, it starts in A3 and goes to B12, I could simply do equal A3 through B12. And that will kind of create another dynamic array of that dynamic array, right? It lives here, spills into here. But if that dynamic array changes, so let's say 10 by 3, and just to mix it up, I'm going to start in 5 and go step of 10, okay? So this references what was the first 2 columns because that was kind of hard-coded. But if I want to hard-code the end, so starting in A3, to the end of the array, we're going to use our favorite little symbol, the pound symbol or hashtag symbol. So if I say A3 pound, this instructs it whatever dynamic array starts in A3 to the end of that dynamic array, whatever that end may be. As you saw, it expanded, went to the bottom of that dynamic array. If I change that, maybe make it go, 15 rows, obviously, it expanded that array because I used that hashtag. Really cool things, okay? So sequence, really not that exciting, but you can use it to do some kind of useful things in Excel, okay? So let's go to use case 1, okay? So I'm asking you to say, create a row ID from 1 to 1,000 in A4. So that means I want to go down 1,000 rows, 1 column, and I want to go from 1 to 1,000. I just need to type in sequence. Everything else is going to be 1, but the rows are 1,000. Columns 1, start step 1. I hit end parenthesis. I get 1 to 1,000 or whatever I tell it to the whole way down. I want to give it an anonymous participant ID. So I want it to be participant, space, and then a sequential number like 1,000, and then the next one 1,500. If I say equal participant, that's hard-coded in a string, space, concatenate that string with an ampersand, whoops, not a dollar sign, an ampersand, and then I use the sequence function with a string. This automatically becomes a dynamic array, so it's going to spill down. I want to go down 1,000 rows, just one column. I could have hit another comma there because that's the default. I want to start with 1,000, and I want to go a step of 500, and just like that, I get participant 1,000 through 500,000, 500. One use case there, which is pretty cool. Let's say we want to build a kind of a dynamic pro forma looking forward. But what I'd like you to do is, we have a start year and a number of years. In C5, I'm going to use these two parameters to build a horizontal dynamic array of this start year for this many years. So I'm going to go here to say equal sequence. Okay, and in this case, I just want one row. I want B4 columns, in this case 5, and I want to start at B3, and I want to go one at a time, 2010, 2011. I do this, and I have 2010 through 2014. I put some conditional formatting in there so it looks nice. Do 9 years, it goes out to 9 years. 4 years, it expands to 4 years. Teen for 4 years, automatically updates, which is cool. Now I built a table of revenue and expenses, and I want to do a VLOOKUP from the year and pull it over the revenue and expenses. So I'm going to say over here equal VLOOKUP, and I'm going to reference that year value. And instead of just saying C5 and then dragging it over, I'm going to say C5 hashtag, and it's going to go to the end of that and make this VLOOKUP basically a dynamic array. The table is called revenue expense, and I want to pull over column 2, and it is an exact match. And just like that, it pulls over 2010 through 2015 through 2018. If I go to 2010 and I want 10 years, boom, just like that, it expands it. Now, I'm not going to do it. I want to keep this video short, but I want you to do the same thing for expenses, and I want you to do the same thing for profit. Now, profit, you're going to have to use, say, C5 hashtag minus C6 hashtag minus D7 hashtag, and it'll create a dynamic array that takes revenue minus expenses to come up with profit. This workbook, by the way, I should have said at the beginning of the video, is posted in the first comment. And I also have the use case 1 solution and use case 2 solution. So if you want to work through that yourself, please do. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe. This is video 1 of hopefully several that I'll be releasing over the next few months and hopefully years. Take care. Goodbye.